Here's going to be an explanation of your 5 PSAT problems from your Unit 3 Linear Equations multiple choice portion of your test. Feel free to fast forward to questions that you need to see and skip past questions that you do not. But as a reminder, you will have to retake the entire thing as a retake. So if you guessed and got it right, still make sure you're watching the explanation. So we look on number 1. It's saying on a 210-mile trip, Cameron drove at an average speed of 60 miles per hour for the first X hours. He then completed the trip driving at an average speed of 50 miles per hour for the remaining Y hours. If X equals 1, what is the value of Y? Okay, so this is just a total story problem, right? The total is 210 miles. The total trip was 210 miles. Okay, we know he drove for a while at 60 miles per hour, and we know he drove for a while at 50 miles per hour. It's just that this is telling us that X equals 1. So even if we say that this was X and this was Y, right? For Y hours is 50, so that's the Y, is 60, right? It's then telling us to replace X with 1. And 60 times 1 is just 60, so we really just have this equation. And this is something that we are able to solve. We'll get Y equals 3, so we should have picked D. Number 2 can throw my students off just because this table is presented in a horizontal fashion instead of a vertical fashion. So if you really don't like this look, you could rewrite the table this way, where we put our X's down here. So 1, 2, 3. 1 pairs with 11, 2 pairs with 16, 3 pairs with 21. So if you like that look better, you can flip your table this way. Okay, and it wants to know what equation represents the linear function, right? So we're just going to write the equation of a line. So you can find the slope either by picking 2 points or by finding the distance here. So if you pick the point 1, 11 and 2, 16, right? Our slope is going to be 16 minus 11 over 2 minus 1. Which will give us 5 over 1. So we know our m is going to equal 5, so that should narrow it down to our first 2, right? Then we're going to pick a point. And so y minus 11 equals 5 times x minus 1. I'm going to solve. We'll get 5x plus 6. And so we should have picked option A. Number 3, Caleb used juice to make popsicles. The function, right, so we're given the equation, f of x equals negative 5x plus 30, approximates the volume in fluid ounces of juice Caleb had remaining after making x popsicles. So this is going to be really important, right, as we're defining our independent and our dependent variables. It tells us that x, this is our x, is going to be the popsicles, which means that our y is going to be the volume, the fluid ounces. Okay. We want to know which statement is the best interpretation of the y-intercept. So we know our b is 30. So our b is going to be somewhere up here. That's going to be 30. And we know that a y-intercept is always an ordered pair where x is 0, y is 30. Right? So when there were 0 popsicles, so when he started, we had 30 fluid ounces because our X label is popsicles, which go with 0, and our Y label is fluid ounces. So if we look through, we know we need one that deals with 30, so it's going to narrow down here. And we know it's the starting amount that he had, so when he began making the popsicles, so we should have picked C. Number 4, the graph of 7x plus 2y equals negative 31. Right? We have a function, it's in the xy plane. It has an x-intercept and it has a y-intercept, right? We know x-intercepts are this way and y-intercepts are this way, where a and b are constants. What is the value of b over a? Which means we need to find the x and y-intercept. And we know we find an x and y-intercept by plugging in 0. Okay, so to find my x-intercept, I'm going to plug in 0 for y. which says 7x equals negative 31. Okay, so I know when I'm looking at my x-intercept, I know that it is going to be the ordered pair negative 31 over 7 comma 0. Okay, which means that tells me A equals negative 31 over 7. Okay, now I need to find the y-intercept, so I'm going to plug in 0 for x. Oops, plus, that's a plus. Okay, so 2y equals negative 31, divided by 2. Now, you could turn these into different formats. I'm just going to leave them as fractions. I prefer fractions. So negative 31 over 2. Okay, so I know my y-intercept is 0, comma, negative 31 over 2. Or that means that b is negative 31 over 2. Okay, so I'm going to get another color here so I can sort of clarify. So now I need to calculate b over a. So I need negative 31 over 2 divided by negative 31 over 7. Okay, so you can use Desmos, but make sure you are using Desmos correctly. Or you could use a calculator if you know how to type in a fraction. Whichever way works for you, you need to do negative 31 over 2, the fraction, right? And then you need to divide negative 31. You need to divide negative 31 over 2 by negative 31 over 7. Okay, and that will give you an answer of 7 over 2. Last one. Okay, so the table above shows the coordinates of 3 points on a line in an xy plane, where k and n are constants. If the slope of the line is 2, what is the value of k plus n? So we need to find what k and n are. So just like most situations, right, we need the equation of the line. Now, good news, I have a point right here, and I have a slope. So I can say m equals 2, and I have the point 3 comma 7. So I can say y minus 7 equals 2 times x minus 3. I'm just solving like we've been doing. So this will say y equals 2x plus 1. So I know my function rule for this table is y equals 2x plus 1. So when I plug in 3, I get out 7. So when I plug in 12, right, use a different color here. When I plug in 12 for x, so I need 2 times 12, which is 24, plus 1, that gives me out 25. Now this one's a little bit sneakier because I have to go backwards, right? This says when I plug in k, I get out 11, right? So I'm plugging 11 in for y. I can leave this as an x, but I need to solve this, right? So I subtract the 1, so I get 10 equals 2k. I divide by 2. Right, so if I plug in 5, 2 times 5 plus 1 is 11. Now this answer, what's k plus n? So my k is 5. My n is 25. So 5 plus 25 would give me an answer of 30.